Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we break down the business world, and let me tell you this latest filing from CIMG Incorporated is quite the puzzle. Think of it as a corporate treasure hunt, and we're here to find out what is hidden in plain sight. So, CIMG Incorporated is gearing up for their annual meeting, and it is packed with stuff the company wants shareholders to approve, from electing new board members to giving the green light on a new stock plan, and even a big move to increase the number of shares they can issue. It is a lot, so let us dive in and see what it all means for you. First up, the company is notifying everyone about its annual meeting happening on the 28th of October, 2025. They got a list of things they want shareholders to bless, and it's pretty standard stuff for a company looking to grow. But there are some interesting proposals here, like a big change to their articles of incorporation. The company is holding its annual meeting virtually this year, which is pretty cool, allowing more people to join in from wherever they are. They set a record date of the 30th of September, 2025, to decide who gets to vote. It's all about making sure the right people are in the room, virtually speaking, to make decisions. One of the main events is electing 5 directors. Think of them as the captains of the ship guiding CIM Incorporated. They've got nominees ready to go, and we'll get a closer look at them in a bit. Then there is the CIMG Incorporated 2026 Equity Incentive Plan. This is basically a way for the company to give out stock and other incentives to its employees and directors. It's meant to keep good people around and motivate them to help the company succeed. It is not surprising, but the total number of shares they want to put aside for this plan is a hefty 38 million. But here is a big one, Proposal 4. They want to amend their Articles of Incorporation. Right now, they have 200 million shares of common stock authorized. They want to bump that up to a whopping 600 million shares. That is a huge increase. Why would they do that? Well, they say it's for flexibility for future capital raises, strategic deals, and to give out more employee incentives. More shares mean more room to maneuver, but it can also mean more dilution for existing shareholders if not managed carefully. They also want to ratify Accenture PAC as their independent auditor. This is how shareholders give a thumbs up to the company's choice of accountant, ensuring the numbers are crunched by someone who doesn't have a vested interest in making them look good. Let's take a peek at the folks up for director seats. We have Jen Shuang Wang, Zhongmei Huang, Yanli Ho, Chang Zhengyi, and Jinmei Guo Hellstrom. Jen Shuang Wang is a Chief Executive Officer and Chairperson, so she is a key player. The filing gives a rundown of their backgrounds. For example, Jen Shuang Wang's experience is largely in human resources before stepping into the CEO role. Zhongmei Huang has a background in global business management, and Yanli Hu brings experience in franchise operations and digital transformation. Chang Zhengyi has an engineering and technical management background, and Jinmei Guo Hellstrom brings expertise in business management and marketing. It's a diverse group, and the company believes they all bring valuable skills to the table. Interestingly, 4 of their 5 current directors, Ms. Huang, Ms. Hao, Ms. Hellstrom, and Mr. Yi, are considered independent. This is important because independent directors are supposed to provide objective oversight and protect shareholder interests. And Ms. Wang is not considered independent because she is an executive officer. The company has an audit committee, a compensation committee, and a nominating and corporate governance committee. These committees are crucial for good governance. The audit committee, for instance, is responsible for overseeing the company's financial reporting and auditor selection. The compensation committee, as you might guess, deals with how the executives are paid, and the nominating committee handles finding and evaluating potential directors. Now, let's talk about director compensation for the fiscal year ending the 30th of September 2024. Non-employee directors received cash fees ranging from $3,000 to $5,000. Jinmei Guo Hellstrom received no cash compensation in 2024, and notably, Kevin J. Connor, Tracy Jing J., Chris Jones and Nobuki Kirita, all former directors, received significant compensation in the prior fiscal year of 2023, including substantial cash and stock awards. It seems there was a significant turnover in the board in late 2024 and early 2025. Who owns the company? Well, as of the 19th of August 2025, the ownership picture is quite interesting. The total number of outstanding shares is around 188 million. But what catches the eye are the major shareholders who own more than 5%. We've got Joya Investment Limited, DIT Info Pta, Ltd, IY Tech Inc. VMade Co, Limited Data Business Trading Company Limited, and Metaverse Intelligence Tech Ltd owning substantial chunks. Some of these entities like Joya Investment Limited, DIT Info Pte, Ltd, YY Tech Inc, VMade Co, Limited and Metaverse Intelligence Tech Ltd have beneficial owners who hold significant portions directly and also have warrants that could give them even more shares. It paints a picture of a company with several significant, potentially influential investors. Looking at management and directors, the table shows that practically no shares are owned by the current management and directors. This is a red flag for me. When the people running the company do not have a significant stake in it, their incentives might not be perfectly aligned with long-term shareholder value. For instance, Jianshuang Wang, the CEO, is listed with 0 shares as of the 19th of August 2025. This is quite unusual. Diving deeper into those major shareholders, we see some fascinating details. For example, Joya Investment Limited, through Yumai Li, holds over 7 million shares, with warrants for more. DIT Info PT Ltd, linked to Leng Choi, has over 9 million shares and more warrants. YY Tech Inc, associated with Yuji Liu, also has a significant stake with warrants attached. It looks like many of these large holders have bought shares and also acquired warrants, which gives them the right, but not the obligation, to buy more shares at a certain price. This is a common strategy in financing, but it's worth noting the sheer number of warrants alongside the owned shares. Now, let's talk about executive compensation for the fiscal year 2024. The named executive officers included Masatru Higashida, who was CEO until June 2024, and Randell Weaver, who was CFO until August 2024. However, the current CEO Jianshuang Wang, CFO Feng Tian, and Ko Xiaocheng Hao are also listed with compensation details. Jianshuang Wang, the current CEO, received a modest $8,000 in cash for fiscal year 2024. Feng Tian, the CFO, and Xiaocheng Hao, the Kupu, seem to have received no compensation in fiscal year 2024, though they have employment agreements setting annual salaries of $12,000 and $40,000 respectively. This is quite low for executive roles in a publicly traded company, and suggests they may be compensated more heavily through other means, or that the company is in a very early stage of its executive compensation structure. Looking at the summary compensation table for fiscal year 2024, Randell Weaver, a former CFO, received over $245,000 in cash. Masatru Higashida, a former CEO, also received over $243,000. These figures stand in stark contrast to the compensation of the current executive team, indicating a significant shift in leadership and compensation strategy in recent times. The previous year, 2023, saw even higher compensation for these former executives, with Weaver receiving over $107,000 and Higashida over $318,000. This suggests a period of transition. Back to that 2026 equity incentive plan, the company is asking for approval to grant up to 38 million shares. This plan is overseen by the board or a compensation committee made up of independent and non-employee directors. It lets them grant options and restricted stock to employees, officers, directors, consultants, and advisors. The strike price for options will be at least the fair market value on the grant date. If approved, this plan will freeze the older 2024 and 2025 plans, but allow existing awards to continue. Now, that proposed increase in authorized shares from 200 million to 600 million, as of the 22nd of September 2025, they had only issued about 36.4 million shares, with a good chunk reserved for their stock incentive plan, so they are not even close to running out of authorized shares. This massive increase primarily gives the board more flexibility for future financing or acquisitions without needing shareholder approval again. However, it also means they could potentially issue a lot more shares, which could dilute existing shareholders' ownership percentage and voting power. The company states this is for flexibility and strategic needs, but it's a significant power they are asking the board to have. Let us look at the auditor. Accenture PAC is proposed as the independent registered public accounting firm for the year ending the 30th of September 2025. For the fiscal year 2024, their fees totaled $280,610, with most of that being for audit fees. This is not a huge amount, suggesting the company's audit costs are relatively contained. The audit committee has reviewed and discussed the company's financial statements with management and the independent auditors. They've confirmed that Accenture's independence and have recommended that the financial statements be included in the annual report. This is a standard part of the process to ensure financial transparency. Finally, there is a section on stockholder proposals and director nominations for future meetings, setting deadlines for when shareholders can submit their own ideas or nominations. This shows how shareholders can theoretically influence the company's direction. Alright, let's put on our analytical hats. CIMG Incorporated seems to be in a phase of significant restructuring and strategic planning. The massive increase in authorized shares is the most striking element. While the company claims it's for flexibility and future growth, it also hands the board considerable power to issue more stock, which could dilute current shareholders. The minimal ownership by current management is a concern, suggesting that their financial success might be more tied to salaries and bonuses, rather than the long-term appreciation of their own shareholdings. However, the company is trying to attract talent with a new incentive plan, which is a necessary step. The financial table for director compensation shows a big shift, with former execs getting substantial payouts while current ones are compensated very modestly. This suggests a major leadership change and a move towards a more cost-conscious or equity-driven compensation model moving forward. The direction seems to be one of seeking growth and flexibility, but it comes with the risk of dilution and a lack of immediate insider alignment. The key will be how this board, once elected, uses the increased share authorization and whether they can truly align their incentives with shareholder value. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for CIM Incorporated's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.